Hi everyone. Today's video might be most important English learning video you've ever watched in your life. Improve your English listening. Let's get started. Words are free, yet how we use them decides whether they bring opportunity or regret. Among all the languages in the world, English has become more than a means of communication. It has become a key to unlocking doors of success, travel, education, and personal growth. But there's a barrier many people face, not of understanding English, not of learning grammar, but of training the mouth to speak it. For millions, English lives in the mind, but never leaves the lips. This story explores that struggle, not through a single character, but through a shared experience, a universal challenge. And a message of hope: you can train your mouth to speak English and change your life. You might know the grammar. You might understand the vocabulary. You might even read books in English and enjoy movies without subtitles. But when it's your turn to speak? Silence, fear, doubt. A mind full of words, but a mouth locked tight. This is not a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of practice. A mouth that has never been trained to form the sounds of English struggles, not because it can't, but because it hasn't. Speaking is a physical act. Just as your arms must be trained to lift weights, your mouth must be trained to form new sounds. English requires muscles you don't use in your native language. Tongue position, lip movement, rhythm, all unfamiliar at first. The first moral: it's not about intelligence. It's about muscle memory. One of the biggest obstacles to speaking English is fear. Fear of saying it wrong, of sounding foolish, of being laughed at. This fear creates silence. And silence becomes a habit. And that habit becomes your reality. But here's a truth that changes everything: mistakes are the price of progress. Babies are not embarrassed when they speak wrongly. They babble, repeat, and slowly improve. That's how they learn. Adults, however, avoid mistakes, and in doing so, avoid growth. So the second moral becomes clear: speak wrong today, so you can speak right tomorrow. One of the simplest tools for training your mouth is something everyone has: a mirror. Stand in front of it. Speak English aloud. Watch your mouth move. Listen to yourself. Don't worry about how strange it feels. Don't care if you make mistakes. Just speak. Describe your day. Repeat what you hear in English videos. Read aloud. Imitate accents. Record yourself and listen back. At first, it will feel odd. But soon, something magical happens: your mouth becomes familiar with English. Your lips will stretch. Your tongue will bend. The sounds will become smoother. Every single day, your voice becomes more confident. Not because your grammar is perfect, but because your mouth is trained. Third moral: confidence is not born, it is trained, one sentence at a time. Now imagine this: you decide to speak English for 30 days, just 15 minutes each day. Day 1, you fumble. Your tongue stumbles. Your brain races ahead while your lips lag behind. Day 5, you still make mistakes, but you laugh through them. Day 10, you notice your pronunciation is clearer. Day 15, you start speaking without pausing to translate. Day 20, you catch yourself thinking in English. Day 25, you give advice in English to yourself. Day 30, you're not fluent, but you are unafraid. This is not magic. It is momentum. And with momentum comes the fourth moral: the hardest part is starting. The easiest way is daily. When you train your mouth to speak English, you gain more than language. You gain courage to express your ideas in global rooms, respect for your own efforts and journey, growth because each sentence builds confidence. People begin to notice. Your English is getting better, they say. But what they really mean is, you didn't give up. The world opens for those who try. So, train your mouth, not once, not sometimes, but daily. Across continents, from Asia to Africa, in cities and villages, classrooms teach English daily. Children repeat after teachers, "This is a cat. That is a dog." And yet, years later, many grow up unable to speak English confidently. Why? Because they were trained to read and write, but not to speak. They memorized grammar rules. They passed written exams, but their mouths remained untouched by practice. So they grew up believing, "I can understand English, but I can't speak it." But here's a truth worth repeating. Understanding English is not speaking English. Speaking must be trained separately. Speaking is a skill, like swimming. You cannot learn to swim by reading a book. You must get into the water. And to speak English, you must move your tongue, lips, and voice. You must get into the language. Think about this. Have you ever typed English messages fluently? Understood everything in a movie? Scored well in written English exams? And yet, gone silent during a spoken conversation? Hesitated in meetings? Rehearsed sentences in your head, but said nothing? That's not lack of talent. That's lack of mouth training. Here's the magic formula. 1. Listen a lot. 2. Repeat what you hear. 3. Record your voice. 4. Speak every day. When you listen, your ears adjust. When you repeat, your mouth adjusts. When you record, you reflect. When you speak daily, you grow. Speaking English is not about knowing fancy vocabulary. It's about being comfortable using what you already know. Confidence is not fluency. Confidence is trying again. The more you speak, even with mistakes, the less power fear has over you. Don't wait for the perfect sentence. Don't wait to be ready. Speak now. Speak wrongly. Speak anyway. Fluency comes after many messy, broken attempts. If you wait to speak until you're fluent, you'll never start. Remember, babies say, "May want toy," before they learn to say, "Can I have the toy, please?" They make mistakes. Adults laugh affectionately, but the baby keeps speaking. Eventually, they become fluent, not because they were perfect, but because they kept going. Why expect more from yourself than a baby? You will say, "She go market." Then later, "She went to the market." Then finally, "She had already gone to the market before I arrived." But the journey starts with the wrong sentence. The only people who don't improve are the ones who stay silent. Many learners don't need new grammar books. They need a mirror, a voice recorder, and their own voice. Speak to yourself, describe your room. Talk about your plans. Explain how you make tea. Read a short story aloud. Mimic news anchors. Your mouth is not used to English sounds. Your native language has different rhythms. You must retrain your muscle memory. English uses many unfamiliar sounds. Th, in think or that. V, in very. R, in right different intonation and stress. At first, these sounds will feel awkward. You may laugh. That's okay. It's part of learning. Speak like you're acting. Use emotion. Be dramatic. Be bold. Fake confidence until your body believes it. The mouth learns faster when the fear is gone. Final moral of the story: don't just learn English. Train your mouth to speak it. Because your voice deserves to be heard, clearly, confidently, and without apology. The end. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe.